Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, and today I want to share a book. It's named Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. This is a very interesting book. It is very short. It's a really quick read. However, I do feel like I was emotionally damaged by the book. It was really heavy. It's basically about shattered dreams in America. Right, so the story is about two young men. They are friends to each other. One man is really huge, is really buff and can do lots of physical work, and his name is Lenny. However, mentally he's a bit slow or not that bright, and also he's suffering from some mental illness. The guy is a small guy. The other guy is named George, and so George is to me is he's really smart and he's really independent. He takes care of Lenny. Yeah, so the story basically evolved from these two guys. So they traveled to a ranch and they met other people at the ranch. I think some memorable character includes one of them would be Candy. Candy is the old man with an old dog. And so he got some savings, but he knows he cannot be doing the work anymore. Yeah, and the other one is Crook. So Crook is a black man, so he lives by himself because of the racial reasons. They cannot live together back then, and they didn't meet at first. But Crook is a very interesting character, and the other, I would say the two people on the opposite side of the main character would be Curly and Curly's wife. They are this couple you can see them as antagonists who are causing the troubles for the main characters. Yeah, and there are a few other guys work at the ranch as well. Another guy I want to mention it would be Sling, and so he's kind of the leadership guy in the group. Yeah. So back to the main character, George and Lenny, are they are with dreams basically. They have a long vision about their life. They want to work hard at the ranch, make money, and get a land, have their own farm, so they can have a stable life. They don't have to be kicked out anymore. They can grow vegetables. They can raise stocks just for themselves. That's their dream, and it's to them because they have been repeating that over and over again. They felt that's so close to them, and but it was really shattered in a really brutal way in this book. Yeah, so that's basically the main plot. I This book does make me think a lot of things. I think the first thing it made me reflect would be the loneliness, especially for like ranch workers, because they're not from there. They travel there to do their work, and they're all alone, except for the two main characters. Yeah, I will cite a paragraph from the book. It's in the very earlier of the book. So it is from a conversation between George and Lenny, and George was telling Lenny what like the workers at ranch are like. So he said, guys like us that work on ranches are the loneliest guys in the world. They got no family, they don't belong no place. They come to a ranch, work up a stake, and they go into the town and blow their stake. And the first thing you know, they're pounding their tail on some other ranch. So despite this kind of situation, they did dream for a different life. They want to be stable. They want to build a life for themselves. So then another thing would really would be like throughout the whole book would be the dream they're having. They want to have a land and a house and hatches for vegetables and other animals, especially the rabbits, because Lenny liked the rabbits. So Lenny tend to forget things, or maybe he was pretending to forget things. So one thing is it's almost like a ritual. He would ask George to tell him what would that farm be like, what would their own land and house be like, over and over again in the book. This is the most horrifying thing I found the book, because the more they repeated the dream, I just got a hunch like the worse it's gonna be. It's like the movie A Requiem for a Dream, and it's a bit similar. It made me think of that movie. Right. So I will read the first time George mentioned their dream life to Lenny. Well, said George, we'll have a big vegetable patch and rabbit hunch and chickens. And when it rains in the winter, we'll just say the hell is going to work. And we'll build up a fire and a stove and sit around it, listen to the rain coming down on the roofs. Nuts. Yeah. So if they have their own place, their own business, they don't have to be forced to work on a very strict schedule. They will have control over their life. They'll be having savings. That's a dream so good. And this dream was repeated in the book over and over again until we all know it cannot come true anymore. Yep. I kind of didn't want to spoil the ending, so I wouldn't say how the dream was shattered. But I do want to talk about other two things this book made me think. The 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 other thing would be the caretaking part, because Lenny, he's a huge man. He works really well, especially on the ranch. He can do lots of physical work, but he would not be able to live by himself because he's suffering from mental illness. And George, on the other hand, he's mentally healthy, and he was taking care of Lenny for the whole time. I did feel like George treated Lenny sincerely. He was always helping him. However, it does he as like every caretaker, like he still have his sometime he's not happy, he might be bitter, or maybe even grew some resentment. I think that's really normal. And sometimes he teases Lenny, or since didn't go well, the communication between the two. That's just reminded me of the caretaking in real life. So if you're a caretaker, no matter you're taking care of a family member or a friend, they might be suffering from mental illness or physical illness, or they're just growing old, and the relationship is not that easy to maintain. Even the caretaker is really sincere and really offered his or her all to help. But sometimes things just didn't work out. And sometimes people have to witness another people pass away because of their illness, despite of the care they put into that over and over again. So this is pretty sad. There was a flag in the middle of the book already about this kind of relationship Lenny and George are going to have. So it's about Candy and his dog. Candy has a really old dog, and that dog was a really smart and really helpful dog on the farm and shepherd the sheep. So Candy was really proud of it. But in the book, when the guys they met each other, the dog was already really, really old, and it stinked, and the group was really persuading Candy just to put the dog out of misery, because the dog itself is not enjoying its life anymore. It's just really, really sick. And not only it disturbs everyone in the bunkhouse by its smell, because people cannot sleep, but for the dog itself, it is blind. It cannot eat solid food, and it limps. And yeah, it probably is suffering from physical pain, like all the time. So would be a good thing, maybe just shot him. So, but Candy was really hesitating because he brought up the dog, and ever since there, the dog was apart. So it was really hard to him. So in the end, Candy couldn't do it. He had to let one of the other person in the ranch to do it. But later he regretted. He wished he could send his dog off by himself. Yeah. So that's the thing really made me think, because this would happen to everyone, and but we don't think it that often sometimes. And but by reading the book, it does gave all of us like a mental preparation to see if something similar happened in our own life, we would have considered. Yep. So that's basically the caretaking part. Another thing this book made me think would be the mental illness is Lenny is suffering. So first of all, the book or George was trying to persuade everyone Lenny was kicked by a horse, so he's not that bright, so he's a bit slow. But that was a lie. And so in the book, we didn't really know what exact was the illness Lenny was suffering from. And his illness is more severe than just slow or not be able to talk. Because, for example, he liked to pet small animals, but he ended up killing them. So there was a sense of dangerous behavior, or the tendency of aggressiveness, or maybe that's not fair, not aggressiveness, but the tendency might get himself and the people around him in danger. So that's an issue. But Lenny himself, as a person, he has really, really kind heart. He's never mean, everyone on the ranch, they were really mean to each other. They fight each other. They hate each other. But on the personality level, or the spiritual level, like, I think Lenny was extremely kind. He never thought harm to anyone. He was actually better than the other people in that sense. But because of his illness, he did impose danger to other people. So this is really, it is another dilemma as well. Yeah, for people like Lenny, they did nothing wrong. Like maybe they were born with the illness, or they got it from an accident later on. But either way, they didn't choose that life. And the second thing is they really didn't mean any harm to anyone, because they know they were ill, or they try to stay out of trouble so hard. But sometimes the harder they try, the more awkward and the dangerous situation would be, because people would notice they are really different. So how to maintain a relationship with people like Lenny, or how do we help them, or just be with them, is also another issue. This book really made me to think and reflect. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably all I want to say for now. In general, this is definitely not a happy book. I don't know why this is the mandatory book in high school in America. It is really sad and a little bit depressing, but it does tell us the reality in a way, because all of us, we're gonna face those issues one way or another. So it's better we read it from someone else so we can reflect and think and do better in our real life. Yeah, that's how I think about it.